Good morning. Today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. This is an adjudicatory hearing before the Massachusetts Gaming Commission relative to the application for a license to conduct racing meetings for calendar year 2026 submitted by Plainville Gaming and Redevelopment LLC, who I will refer to as PGR or the applicant. My name is Jordan Maynard. I'm chair of the commission. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Commissioners Eileen O'Brien, Brad Hill, Nikisha Skinner, and Paul Broder. The entire commission will preside over the hearing and decision of this matter. Excuse me. This hearing will be conducted in accordance with 205 CMR 101.01, paragraph 2, subsection J, General Law, Chapter 30A, sections 10 and 11, and 801 CMR 1.02, the informal fair hearing rules. This hearing is being conducted via remote collaboration technology, and it's being recorded. Before we begin, I would like to explain the process that will govern this proceeding. First, I would like to note that there is only one party in this proceeding, that's the applicant, PGR. A representative of the IEB is present as a witness to offer a presentation. Other individuals named in this hearing, in the hearing notice, are present to answer questions as necessary. A notice of hearing was provided to PGR in advance of today's hearing. It identified 11 factors that will be the focus of the commission's attention at this hearing. Though everything raised in the application is at issue, the commission has indicated that it will specifically consider the following factors. Number one, whether PGR has submitted an application that meets the requirements of General Law, Chapter 128A and 205 CMR 15.02. Number two, whether PGR has provided adequate answers to the questions set out by the commission in the applications, including, and I'll read these, the financial ability of PGR to operate a racetrack per General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I, and 205 CMR 15.035A1, the impact of the application on the maximization of state revenues per General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I and 205 CMR 15.035A3B, the suitability of racing facilities for operation at the time of the year for which dates are assigned, that's per General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I and 205 CMR 15.035A3D, the circumstance that large groups of spectators require safe and convenient facilities per General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I and 205 CMR 15.035A3D, the intent of members of the public in racing competition honestly, managed, and of good quality for General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I and 205 CMR 15.035A3E, the necessity of having and maintaining proper physical facilities for racing meetings for General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I and 205 CMR 15.035A3F, and the economic interest and investments of those who in good faith have provided and maintained such facilities. That's per General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 3I and 205 CMR 15.035A3G. Number three, whether the PGR is financially responsible, able to meet obligations to the Commonwealth, has suitable and safe facilities for the service of patrons, and is likely to conduct racing in accordance with approved practices and in a manner consistent with public safety, health, morals, and welfare, including the suitability of the applicant and its leadership to hold or conduct a racing meeting per 205 CMR 15.035A4. Number four, the reputation for honest dealing and gaming history of the applicant's ownership and leadership per 205 CMR 15.035A5. And that's the end of that list of questions. At the conclusion of this statement, the proceeding will commence with opening statements from PGR. We will then turn to the IEB's presentation regarding the suitability of the applicant. PGR will then make their presentation on the 11 issues within the hearing notice. Specifically, PGR will be called upon to present its application and call any witnesses it deems necessary. Any commissioner may ask a question of anyone presenting information at any point during or following the presentations. Finally, at the conclusion of the presentation of all the evidence, PGR will be provided with an opportunity to make a closing statement to summarize its view of the evidence. I understand that there are pre-marked exhibits that have been prepared in advance of this hearing. Those exhibits are identified on the exhibit list that has been circulated, and I do have a copy here in front of me. Thank you, Judy. Are there any objections to exhibit 1 through 8 being marked and entered into evidence?
No, we do not.
Thank you, Sam. All right. Those exhibits shall be admitted into evidence. To maintain a clean record, I ask that documents are referred to by exhibit number. If anyone would like to have any additional documents entered into evidence during the hearing, I would ask that they be properly introduced now and marked. Any additional evidence? All right.
We have none.
Hearing none. I will note that no final decision will be made at the conclusion of the public portion of this hearing. Instead, after the proceeding, the commission will deliberate and ultimately issue its decision on or before November 15th, 2025, in accordance with general law, with Chapter 128A. If at any point during the commission's deliberations, it determines that additional testimony or documentary evidence is desired, it reserves the right to ask PGR to provide such evidence prior to a final decision being made. We will now swear in all the witnesses. I have the witness list in front of me too. Anyone who will be testifying at this proceeding, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will provide before the commission at this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. For the record, I will note that everyone responded in the affirmative. A proceeding of this nature necessarily requires the consideration of a wide variety of information that takes several forms. In this case, some of the information and documentation may include commercially sensitive information. The public disclosure, a discussion of such information may place an entity at a competitive disadvantage if such information were to be publicly discussed. For the commission to be able to execute its legal obligations effectively and diligently prior to making a final finding, it must be at liberty to fully inquire relative to any of these sensitive matters without compromising the individuals or entities involved. To do otherwise would be at a minimum unfair and potentially unlawful. Accordingly, my colleagues and I may elect to exercise the discretion afforded in accordance with 205 CMR 101.01, paragraph 7, to close this proceeding to the public to fully address certain matters. Under this same regulatory section, PGR may request that portions of this hearing be closed to the public, as well as any such requests, and any such requests will be considered in turn by my fellow commissioners. It's my understanding that a pre-hearing conference was conducted on this matter with representatives of PGR and the Commission's legal division, at which procedural and evidentiary issues were discussed. Does anyone have any preliminary issues or objections they would like to raise?
We do not.
Thank you. With that, I will ask representatives on behalf of PGR, beginning with Mr. O'Toole, to please proceed with any opening remarks they would like to make.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. I'm Steve O'Toole, the Director of Racing for Plain Ridge Park Casino. I'll be giving testimony today for the application of Plainville Gaming and Redevelopment for our 2026 race meet that was submitted to you on September 30th of this year for a race meet in Norfolk County.
Thank you. Attorney Haggerty, anything to add?
No, Chair. Just wanted to thank the Commission for all of its hard work and the staff on this application and hearing. Thanks, and we appreciate the partnership with the state.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Steve. We will now turn to Chief Enforcement Counsel Kathleen Kramer to provide the IEB's presentation on the suitability of the applicant. Good morning, CEC Kramer.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. I just have some brief remarks today. In advance of today's hearing, the IEB submitted an executive summary, which is marked, I believe, as Exhibit 7 in your packet. And as an initial matter pursuant to 205 CMR 15.03 subsection 2, the Division of Licensing reviewed PGR's application materials for administrative sufficiency and made a positive determination. Pursuant to 205 CMR 15.04 subsection 8A, in evaluating PGR suitability, a person may be deemed suitable without an additional finding of suitability if they were previously qualified under 23K. As the Commission knows, in 2013, the Commission found PGR and each of its then qualifiers, both entity and individual, suitable in connection with its initial application for a casino gaming license under the criteria set forth in the gaming law and regulations. The criteria for suitability in the gaming law substantially aligns with the criteria for suitability for racing. Those suitability findings were made after full investigations performed by the IEB. As new qualifiers joined the company, they were required to submit to the full background review process. The IEB conducted background investigations as required by the statute and regulation with respect to all of the new qualifiers. All of the designated qualifiers for purposes of this application, which are listed in our executive summary on page 3, have been previously found suitable and remain in good standing. PGR's Category 2 gaming license also remains active and in good standing and was most recently renewed earlier this year. As the Commission is aware, the applicant and the qualifiers have a continuing duty to update the Commission in the event of various occurrences enumerated in the gaming law and regulations, and to inform the Commission of any action with the licensee reasonably believes would constitute a violation of any Massachusetts gaming law or regulation. PGR through Penn has continued to provide updates to the IEB and remains in regular communication with the IEB. That concludes my remarks, and of course, happy to answer any questions if the Commission has any.
All right, thank you, CEC Kramer. Commissioners, I know we've had an opportunity to see the suitability report. Any questions for CEC Kramer based on either that or her presentation here today? All right. Thank you, CEC Kramer. We appreciate it. Mr. O'Toole, Attorney Haggerty, does PGR have any presentation or specific witnesses it would like to call?
Mr. Chairman, we have a presentation, but we have no further witnesses to call.
Well, you may feel free to move on to that presentation addressing those topic areas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Commissioners. Thanks for the opportunity to give testimony today for our application for 2026. It was great to see you in Plainville on the public comment portion of the application process. I'd also like to thank all those that took time to testify a couple of weeks ago, in support of our application. Namely, I'd like to thank Select Board Member Jeff Johnson, the Plainville Town Administrator Brian Noble, Police Sergeant Chad Searce, Plainville Fire Chief J.R. Skinner, some residents and representatives from our horsemen, the Harness Horsemen's Association of New England, and representative from the breeders, the standardbred owners of Massachusetts. In submitting the application for 2026, the Commission received a completed application, $125,000 bond certificate, continuation certificate, $2,100 license fee, and exhibits that we feel will give evidence that the application meets the criteria for licensure. Those criteria include, but are not limited to, the financial ability to operate a racetrack in Norfolk County, maximization of state revenues, the suitability of our facility for the time of year that we've applied for dates, that we can handle large groups of spectators and we have a convenient environment, assure that the public is guaranteed racing competition that's honestly managed and of good quality. Excuse me. We also have the proper facilities for a race meet, which I will highlight. Why this application is beneficial to the public, the Commonwealth, and the applicant. Plainville Gaming and Redevelopment's parent company, Penn Entertainment, continues to be a leader in the gaming and specifically the racing industry. Penn Entertainment, publicly traded, operates in 28 jurisdictions with 10 racing facilities in 7 different jurisdictions. 7 of those tracks, including Plainridge, are integrated with gaming casino operations. Penn also has experience in off-track wagering facilities and operates a national ADW account deposit wagering platform, which is Hollywood Races. Penn Entertainment, being a substantial regional gaming operator with outstanding financial capabilities and operational resources, provides Plainridge a great opportunity and resources from the corporate racing team. The lines of communication are always open between myself and the Vice President of Gaming Racing Operations, Chris McElwain. I lean on him often, and as he does I, but very, very helpful in configuring our tote agreements, our TV agreements, simulcast contracts, and also bulk purchasing opportunities that we do together. Penn Entertainment takes pride in creating inviting racing atmospheres at all their properties and invests deeply in both the customer-facing and the horse racing side of the operations. This commission has seen for yourselves some of those investments. A couple of years ago, we did the paddock renovations through our Capital Improvement Trust Fund. And next month, after racing is completed, we'll be updating the infield video tote display with new technology. This project is outside of the Cap Improvement Trust Fund. This is something that we'll do when racing ends, because it's going to take a little bit of time to do that. But it's hard to believe that that actual video display was put in place 10 years ago, and technology has improved so much. But one of the things that project did for us was it put the framework there for that video display. So the footings, the structure itself, all remains. All we have to do now is to replace those video components that go into the video display. And so that should be a nice upgrade, because even though it's only 10 years old, you can see that it's not as bright as it used to be, or the wear and tear on it, I would say. The physical facilities for our race meetings are state of the art. The commission has seen the judges stand and different things that we do at the track. They're well maintained, and we provide a safe and convenient atmosphere for our customers and for our horsemen. We also continue to offer our racing officials the latest technologies and trainings to perform their duties. Our staff, our racing officials work very, very well with the commission staff, Alex's staff. They and also the state police unit. They work together to honestly manage the racing. And one side note, this year in particular, the veterinarians have done a great job, along with the presiding judge and the stewards, at identifying, the safe racing and protecting the horses themselves. With our track this year, we've set a lot of records. It's been a very fast track, but even though it's been fast, which some of the horses have actually overperformed, it's very safe. We've had no issues this year, and that's a compliment to Alex Lightbound, Dr. Jeremy Murdoch, and everyone that's our judges and everyone at the commission that keeps an eye on our racing. We did have a world record this year, which was great on Spirit of Mass Day. So it just shows that our quality is really up there, very high with a world record. That's a great accomplishment. With purses well over 18 million this season, and probably the strongest breeding program the state has ever seen, which provides for open space and many ancillary benefits across the Commonwealth. The economic generator that the racing at Plainridge has created maximizes state revenues just through the racing licensees alone. This year is a contract year with our horsemen. I noted in I believe it's exhibit 17, that our contract with the horsemen, our purse agreement with the horsemen, expires on December 31st this year. We've been negotiating a new contract. All things have been going well. I was hoping that I could maybe announce a new contract today, but that hasn't happened. But we also have a clause in our current contract for a 1-year extension if if we can't get it done before the end of the year. But I'm very confident that we'll either get it done before the end of the year or absolutely before we open in April. This year, again, we propose 110 days, 33-week schedule. Many of the commissioners will realize that our schedule is kind of repetitive. It's kind of a wash, rinse, repeat cycle type of a schedule where we go from mid-April to the end of October, end of November. But we do, almost every year, we do have a few different twists to our schedule. This year, we're racing a few Saturdays, a few name Saturdays, Kentucky Derby Day and Preakness Day, to expose our live racing to a larger crowd. The actual nuts and bolts of putting our 2026 schedule together, which is Exhibit 6 in the application, is a product of discussions with our horsemen. We look at other regional tracks to maximize field size. We take an approach that fits nicely with the current racing climate in New England and all over the Northeast. And this enables us to provide good quality and competitive racing. And the mid-April through the end of November schedule is consistent with all of our past seasons. And the facility is definitely suited for the time of year that we've applied for. Being located at the intersection of Interstate 495 and Route 1 is just a stone's throw up from I-95, provides a convenient destination for our participants, our customers, and our fans. So we believe there's sufficient evidence provided that granting these dates benefits our day-to-day horsemen, the long-term commitments of the standard bred breeders, the public, and in return provide the fair treatment and economic interests of Plainville gaming and redevelopment. Thank you again for the opportunity to present today. I don't know if Samantha has anything to add, but I can definitely answer any questions you may have regarding my testimony or the application, any of the submissions, or just our racing in general.
Thank you, Mr. O'Toole. I see that Commissioner Hill, who works very closely on these issues, has his mute off.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Steve, a great presentation as always. Commissioner O'Brien and I, we get to meet with Dr. Lightbaum every other week to get updates on what's going on in the racing world. And we get a lot of great information that doesn't always trickle its way down to the full commission. So this is my opportunity for the full commission to hear on a couple of issues that are important to Commissioner O'Brien and Dr. Lightbaum, and I know Steve. And you touched upon them in your testimony, but I think I would like you to touch upon it a little bit more. And it's two issues. The first, you mentioned about the track. Now, arguably, the track health was the best that we've seen, at least in my time, the best ever. Can we talk about why that was? What have you done differently that made this track so good this year compared to other years? And I think you touched upon it. We all feel comfortable. The track is in great shape. I think Dr. Lightbaum would agree with us. But Steve, I want to hear from your mouth what you feel about that.
So we really haven't done anything differently with the track itself. We have some of the best material to work with that comes right from Plainville over at the LaRusso plant over on the other side of town. We're very lucky in that regard. But, we have a really good crew that works on the track and they work diligently. We had a couple of rough spots last year that at least I believe that I identified, and with Alex's help, that and the judges and the veterinarians, that, it wasn't attributable to the track. Although the track has been really good this year, we do have some fairly new equipment where, unfortunately, a track in New Jersey that Penn operated with in conjunction with Parks closed its doors, and we were able to get a new grader, and we moved the grader that we had to Bangor Raceway, which is a sister property. And so that helped them out, and we got a new grader out of the deal as well as some other equipment that's beneficial to us for backups and things like that. But we have a great crew that works on the track. They work on it morning, noon, and night, 5 days a week. They take the weekends off, but many times if the weather doesn't look promising, the crew is in there working on the track, making sure that it's set up right to take the weather and also to repair it if the weather is. But one thing that I really like to emphasize, Commissioner Hill, is that our veterinarians and the judges have gone over and above to make sure that the horses that are presented to race are fit, capable, and healthy. And they've really taken it to another step where when I talk to other people in the industry and they hear what we're doing here, we don't let horses race back very quickly. We make sure that they're on a good, steady rotation. And we make sure that the horses that are presented have all their health certificates, which is a mandate of the Department of Agriculture, but we don't even accept an entry into the entry box for racing without all that information in hand prior to even taking an entry. And we've also identified some participants that we're going to use our exclusionary rights and not accept their entries because we feel that maybe it compromises that safety issue. And so all those factors put together, I think is a good formula for other tracks to follow. And I'm very, very proud of our staff and Alex's staff and the cooperative effort to make sure that this goes off very smoothly not just every day, but every race card.
So my second question, you've almost answered completely. You left out just one thing that I would ask is on the horse health. Commissioner O'Brien and we get our updates. We know that this year the horse health has been very good. Were there any deaths or anything this year on the track?
There was one very early in the season. It was a heart attack. Very unpredictable. It was a very good horse. It was a very expensive horse that was imported from New Zealand. And it was one of those things where no one could predict it. When the horses are presented to race, they're all microchipped these days. And those microchips also have a temperature. You can take that. Not only does it identify a number that's assigned to that chip and that horse, but it also shows their temperature. So we record when the horses are presented at the top stable gate before they even come into the grounds. This trainer has to give us a slip that gives the horse's temperature that was taken that day. Then it's backed up by our identifier. When that identifier reads the chip of the horse, we record the temperature of the horse again to make sure that it's healthy and ready to go on the track. Our vets do visible checks of all the horses as they go out to warm up, when they come back in after warming up, before they go out to race, and when they come back in after racing. Unfortunately, we had that one incident. And we did the post-mortem. The horse was sent out for a necropsy, and we did the post-mortem conference with the trainer and with the veterinarians and with the judges, and it was satisfactory to us that it was just one of those things that happened to not only animals but people as well.
Thank you. That is the very information that I wanted to share with the rest of the commission, and I appreciate you answering those two questions for me. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioners, any further questions for Mr. O'Toole? All right. Sam, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add. Steve covered everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Do my fellow commissioners have any questions for PGR, or are there other individuals we would like to hear from? I'll note that we do have Kara O'Brien and Dr. Lightbaum listed as available to provide testimony. Any questions? All right. Now that we've heard all the evidence in this matter, and before we move to closing remarks, I'd like to turn to my fellow commissioners and make sure just one more time there are no sensitive or confidential issues we would want to explore with the benefit of closing this proceeding to the public under our regulations prior to any of our deliberations. All right. Do we have any further questions about relative to IEB's report, PGR's presentation, or the application? We will now turn to closing remarks. PGR will be given an opportunity to make a statement summing up their position, though they need not do so. Mr. O'Toole, would you like to proceed with any closing remarks?
Sure. I'd just like to thank the commission for the opportunity to express our views on how we feel that we're definitely able to pull off a successful race meet, and that we'll definitely do it again if granted the license. And we hope that you look favorably upon our application. And we thank you for your time, and we thank you for when you come out to the track. We really appreciate you coming out and taking a look at the operation and seeing how it works. That's very important to us, and we feel privileged every time the commission makes a visit to the racing facility. Thank you again, and thank you, commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Toole. Thank you for your presentation. Anything else? Anyone have anything else? All right, we will now conclude this portion of the proceeding. The commission will deliberate about this matter in private and issue a written decision. We will end this virtual meeting and enter into the meeting room for private deliberations. The proceeding at this point remains open. If at any point during the deliberations the commission determines that further testimonial or documentary evidence is desirable, it may send notice of such to the applicant and provide instructions as how to proceed. Before I adjourn, I will say, Mr. O'Toole, that we do appreciate coming down and hearing from everyone there. And so thank you for mentioning that. And I will say members of the public to me means Dale. So it was always good to hear from Dale. With that, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Sam.